Dedicated update show. Events, businesses, and people. Anything and anyone causing a ripple in the community. And now, let's dive in to the Splash Live.
Hello and welcome to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily TV, radio, and streaming news and update show right here in your local community. I'm your host, Tyler Kieft. Dave Scott is out and about today. We'll see him in a little bit here on the show, and he'll be back in the studio very soon. This is our live daily news and talk show specifically for West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, and the city of Orchard Lake Village. Every day, Monday through Friday, live at 9:30 a.m. as part of our 90 minutes of live news coverage here on Civic Center TV from 9:30 to 10. It's right here on the Splash Live for the Greater West Bloomfield community, our 4 communities here that we cover at Civic Center TV. Then we expand out a little further, and I come on air each and every day, and I'll continue on today with the MegaCast at 10 a.m., exploring everything happening in Oakland County and around the state of Michigan and bringing it all back. How does it affect us right here in our 4 communities? And all of this is happening across our vast array of networks on TV, on the radio, and on the web. You can find us on Comcast Channel 15, as well as on AT&T Channel 99 and their community, government, and education channels guide. You'll have to just search through it a little bit, look for your local town, West Bloomfield, Keego Harbor, Orchard Lake, Sylvan Lake, and you can select Civic Center TV. You will also be able to select WBTV, which is the West Bloomfield School District's channel there as well on AT&T Channel 99. You can also find us on our website, civiccentertv.com. That's where you'll find our live stream. We have a watch live page. We have a small player at the top of our homepage. So if you want to listen while you explore some of our program guide throughout the day, or look at some of the past programs we've done recently on our homepage, or other information on civiccentertv.com, another place that you can watch us right here each and every day for our 90 minutes of live news coverage. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/civiccentertv15, facebook.com/civiccentertv15. While you're there, give us a like and follow us on Facebook. We not only do these live shows, sometimes we have multiple municipal meetings, and so you can watch your local city council or planning commission or other municipal meetings right there on Facebook when we do have multiples going at a time. You can also find a lot of our other videos and keep up to date with what we're doing here at Civic Center TV, and especially right here on the Splash Live. And then, of course, there's YouTube. Just search Civic Center TV on YouTube, and you'll be able to find us right there. Civic Center TV 15, in fact, on YouTube. If you search that, you'll be able to pull up our page and watch our shows live. And the great thing about that, too, is we're live for the Splash Live at 9:30 a.m., Monday through Friday. But if that's the middle of your commute and you can't tune in live and you just get into work and you want some easy listening, you want some community listening and learn what's going on in your hometown as you're doing your desk work or whatever you may be doing on the job on this particular day, you can always join us live to tape, as we call it in the industry, or on demand, as most would say, on our YouTube page as well. Those live videos immediately afterward, when we're done with these shows, become archives themselves. And so before we touch everything up, make it all pretty for YouTube and for their algorithm, you'll be able to watch us live and see your hometown show whenever you want on our YouTube page as well. It's all part of our 90 minutes of news right here on Civic Center TV. There's plenty to go over today on this Wednesday edition of the Splash Live, and we'll get to a lot of that coming up. Of course, we've just gone through a major weather event over the last week. It was just 1 week ago that we underwent Winter Storm Olive, which really for us was just a major ice storm. That was the winter weather we got, and as a result, tons of power outages in the local area, continuing to be problematic for people. Not so much necessarily in our 4 communities at this point in time. Most of those power outages have been resolved. There are some isolated areas of outages too, but we have all this information you can find linked on our website on civiccentertv.com/ice, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. But before we do that, as I mentioned, we have Dave Scott out in the field. We'll take a break here on the Splash Live. When we come back, we'll talk to one of our great local businesses at the West Bloomfield Parks Black Expo. We had Dave out there in the field, and you'll see that next. Stay tuned. You're watching and listening to the Splash Live.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Watch Civic Center TV with our brand new live captions. To turn on live captions, go to civiccentertv.com and click Watch Live. In your web browser, click on the Options tab in the top right and find the Accessibilities tab. Then just switch on live captions to heighten your enjoyment of our local programming. Thank you so much for watching Civic Center TV. Like what you see? Beautiful works of art, masterworks of metal, and accomplishments of artistry will be on display near you. All kinds of artists from all walks of life come together to celebrate their skill and appreciate their work's beauty. Hot Works presents the 2023 Orchard Lake Fine Art Show. Stop by July 29th and 30th between 2 and 10 p.m. between Powers and Daly off of Orchard Lake Road. And now, back to the Splash, live.
Welcome back, Dave Scott, Civic Center TV, here at the My Healthy Juice booth with the owner, Dorothy. Hi, Dorothy. How are you?
I am wonderful.
So how's it going here at the Black Expo?
Oh, my goodness, amazing. Just like last year, I did amazing this year, and I'm expecting again next year. So the sales are just crazy. I am amazed at the participation.
So talk a little bit about your product, if you would.
Okay, so my product is, can I get one for you?
Sure, go ahead. She's going to get one for us. This is the best part. Okay, here we go.
So my product is healthy juice that was actually driven from the pandemic.
Really?
So in the pandemic, I was diagnosed with leukemia. That drove me to want to do different things with my body. I am so amazed at what I've come up with. All the different juices, from celery love to tropical sunrise to carrot surprise, so many different things that will do amazing things for the body.
So you're producing these products
Yes.
and distributing them how? Or through events like this, or how do you do it?
Yeah, what I do is I work out of a kitchen in Clawson, Michigan, and I take orders. So if you want to order from me, you would just call 248-309-1753.
Dorothy's really good at getting plugs in. I like that. You got a website?
Yes, I do. mhjuice.com.
You know, I think everybody knows that fruits and vegetables are good, and they're going to help make sure that we're healthier. But I'm one that it's hard for me to consume vegetables. I don't like them. But in this kind of a format, I've always found it's a lot better.
It's so much better. I mean, we even do what we call a beet juice, and many people don't like beet, right? But if you juice
Beet juice? Ooh, but I bet it's good.
It's amazing. My beet juice is amazing. You've got to get it from My Healthy Juice.
So, Dorothy, why did you decide to start this business? Obviously because of your situation?
Yes, because of my situation. And it wasn't that I was doing something wrong, but I wanted to be better at what I was doing. I wanted to be better at my health. You know, and one of the actions that I took was to start investing in what I put in my body. The investment is My Healthy Juice.
And being an entrepreneur, I mean, you're right here in West Bloomfield.
Yes.
You get some kitchen time, which a lot of other people do.
Yes.
You produce this.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing. Where do you want to take this?
Well, I'm thinking that I can go in shelves across America. This is a benefit. I'm doing everything I can do to help other people too. So this is an opportunity for me. I want to grow. I want to go in stores all over the country.
All right, well, keep in touch, okay? We'll start telling your story in Civic Center TV, and you never know where you're going to go. And I guess that I can see from the sign behind you that some of the funds today go to the Leukemia Foundation.
That is absolutely correct because, again, as I said, in the month of March, in the middle of the pandemic, I was diagnosed with leukemia. So I've decided to give a percentage of my proceeds to the Leukemia Foundation.
Dorothy, great story. Your website one more time.
mhjuice.com.
Okay. Dorothy, her amazing story here on Civic Center TV. We're going to be back with more from the Black Expo. Don't go away.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
Ronnie started doing prescription pills at the age of 15. And by 19, he died. If your child is struggling with drug use, try not to be too proud to reach out for help. Don't be worried about what the neighbor will think or your family. Just get your child the help they need. Sometimes it's the hard road to take, but the hard road is nothing compared to living with the fact that your child is no longer with you.
There's hope and help at drugfree.org.
And now, back to The Splash, live.
Welcome back to The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's daily TV, radio, and streaming news and talk show. I'm your host, Tyler Kieft, filling in for Dave Scott today, as it's going to be a warmer day here in the Greater West Bloomfield area as we take a look at our weather report. Highs in the 50s, lows about freezing, but you can expect there could be some wintry mix of snow and rain. And with that being the case, you might want to take a little bit more caution as you're driving around the community this afternoon and this evening. But then later on in the week, we could run into some more inclement weather after just a little over a week since the big ice storm came running through our community. So we've continued to update our ice page on civiccentertv.com/ice. That's where we have information about resources for how to prepare for power outages, how to prepare for some of these winter storms, links to information from the National Weather Service out of their White Lake office, which covers the Pontiac and Detroit area, as well as to information on power outages from the DTE Energy Power Outage Map and the Consumers Energy Power Outage Map, both of which have come in a lot of handy lately to just show how many outages there have been in the local area. So let's take a look at that map as it stands now. This is for across the local area, not just the Greater West Bloomfield area in our 4 communities, but our neighbors in Bloomfield Township and north of us in the Pontiac area, a little bit southwest of us in Farmington Hills and through Walled Lake. Most of the Greater West Bloomfield area, some isolated pockets, a lot of those less than 5 or around 10, somewhere between 1 and 99 outages in isolated areas. But for the most part, the majority of our community has their power restored to some semblance of normalcy. Now, DTE Energy said they expected to get that final 5% of those that were out of power back and restored by the end of the day on Tuesday. Obviously, according to this map, that goalpost continuing to be moved forward. And again, if you haven't been tuning into our programming lately, I did mention on my show, on the MegaCast, which comes after the show each and every day on our live 90 minutes of news coverage, that DTE Energy is providing a $35 credit for anybody that has been without power for more than 96 hours. That will be credited on your DTE Energy bill. So keep an eye out for that. And if you haven't received that credit, if you don't receive that credit, definitely you're going to want to reach out to your utility. So expect some isolated outages to continue through the area here today and in the next couple days as DTE attempts to wrap up those last power outages. We also have a link to the Consumers Energy Power Outage Map on civiccentertv.com/ice and encourage you to stay tuned to that page for more information as we're expecting the potential for a snowstorm on Friday here in the Greater West Bloomfield area and in Oakland County. It could hit Oakland County. It could just be a little bit of rain, or it could be a lot of good packing snow coming throughout the day. That is still yet to be fully determined by the National Weather Service, who says it's becoming more and more tough to really narrow down those predictions, those forecasts for how the weather is going to come through our local area up until a day or so out, really knowing where exactly those are going to go. So currently trending toward more of the Detroit area, but it could veer north, and if it does veer north, it will come right through here in Oakland County and in the Greater West Bloomfield area. So keep yourself prepared by going to our ice page, civiccentertv.com/ice. Now, there's a lot of things that you can look forward to and not be so worried about or frustrated with, like this weather and power outages and the whatnot. Coming up very soon, we will have the Greater West Bloomfield Health and Wellness Fair once again this summer. That is coming up in June. June 14th, mark your calendars, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at West Bloomfield Town Hall. And that is all being put on by the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce and their partners at Corewell Health, formerly known as Beaumont Health. They will be participating in this. Over 40 businesses and organizations and other vendors, all about your health and wellness. You can scan the QR code on your screen if you're watching us on our TV or our streaming outlets on civiccentertv.com, on our YouTube page, and more, or watching us on demand as well to get more information how you can participate. You can also purchase a table. That's still available. If your business is circulating the health and wellness sector of our business community, you can participate by calling Suzanne Levine, the Executive Director of the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. That phone number, 248-626-3636, 248-626-3636, or visit westbloomfieldchamber.com for all of that. And before we get to any of that in the summer, in just a little over a week from this coming Monday, March 13th is the date. Mark your calendars for the State of the Communities, as we'll hear from leaders of all 4 of our Greater West Bloomfield communities, as well as the West Bloomfield School District, about what's going on in their municipality, projects they're working on, different initiatives that they are working on in their community to better your daily life, to work with you in your communities to make your hometown that much better. And it's all part of Sunshine Week. Sunshine Week, which was launched in 2005 by the American Society of News Editors, and it's all centered around open and transparent government, something we don't see a whole lot of nowadays sometimes the state and certainly at the federal level. Plenty to not be happy about on that front, but right here in the Greater West Bloomfield community, we keep ourselves open and transparent with Sunshine Week and the State of the Communities. That is happening at 7 o'clock on March 13th at West Bloomfield Middle School if you want to attend live, and you can also view it live with us right here on Civic Center TV and on 89.3 Lakes FM. Participating is Mayor's Rob Kalman from the city of Keego Harbor, Norm Finkelstein from the city of Orchard Lake Village, and Mayor Jim Cowper from Sylvan Lake, as well as Steve Kaplan, the supervisor of the Charter Township of West Bloomfield. We'll also hear from Dr. Danya Bazzi, who is the superintendent of the West Bloomfield School District, about all that's going on in the school district. Certainly a lot to talk about. We got a bond issue going up for vote later on this year, and so that's going to be a big topic of conversation. Of course, the great new West Bloomfield Middle School up and running, and a lot of great things happening there. We've had plenty of our shows even happening at the middle school, so that's been a whole lot of fun, and that's going to be a great event. We hope you join us March 13th, 7 o'clock at the State of the Communities. We also have the Keego Harbor Memorial Day Parade. Now, that's a ways down the road. May is still a ways away, as much as time is flying by, as we're now entering the 3rd month of 2023. But you can participate in the Keego Harbor Memorial Day Parade, and if you want to do that, you're going to have to start now. The volunteer form, the registration form, all available on Keego Harbor's website. This is all happening through Keego Harbor Parks and Recreation. Their Keego Harbor Memorial Day Parade, of course, is on May 29th, and you can register and find more information by going on the Keego Harbor website at keegoharbor.org. And then some news here in our local area. Congratulations. We, of course, are the home for West Bloomfield Laker football and have seen a lot of this young man over the last couple of years. Kari Jackson, who was a varsity player for a brief period of time as a freshman a couple of years ago, spent a year at the IMG Academy in Florida and came back and had a wonderful season at West Bloomfield High School here in the 2022-2023 season. He is committed to Penn State University going into the Big Ten, and West Bloomfield High School has become a bit of a linebacker U and DBU, defensive back university, sort of a situation for these young recruits who are able to go on to D1 schools and have a whole lot of success. You think about linebackers recently at West Bloomfield High School. Mike Williams last year was a linebacker and a defensive end, ended up going to USF, to South Florida. We've had in the past Lance Dixon, who did go to Penn State and eventually did transfer out to the University of Kansas, and so many others that have come through and been really successful at the linebacker position. And Corey Jackson, certainly one of those great players, going on to Penn State University after one more year at West Bloomfield High School. That defense still going to be quite fantastic in 2023-2024. We'll take one more break here on the Splash Live. On the other side, some exciting news.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important.
And now the same is true in the face of flu.
Influenza has the power to infect millions.
But it's easy to protect yourself, your family, and your community.
The flu vaccine is safe and effective. And with COVID-19 still around,
it's essential. Together we can face flu season head on.
Visit michigan.gov/flu.
Hello, nose. My nose knows is when somebody uses the bathroom. Mom, all we need is flush. Ooh, I smell cookies.
I smell an A+.
How could my nose be running when it stays on my face?
Our noses know if those sniffles are just a cold, allergies, or COVID-19. So swab it. Test it. It's good to know.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
To the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show all across our network on Civic Center TV, on 89.3 Lakes FM, and across our outlets on the web as well. And we go over a whole lot of fun and activities here throughout the Greater West Bloomfield community each and every day on this show. But over the last few years, especially with the pandemic, more and more of us have been venturing out to our parks. And one of the favorites is the West Bloomfield Trail. Joining us now is the Interim Director of West Bloomfield Parks, Joe Ketchum, as there's some exciting news a new amenity coming on to the West Bloomfield Trail very soon. Joe, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Tyler. Good to be here with you today. Yeah, we're pretty excited in the fact that we, as excited as you can get about a restroom, but the West Bloomfield Trail has been in West Bloomfield operationally for the last 30 years, and we have basically had porta-johns at the Arrowhead Trailhead, which is also the trailhead for the West Bloomfield Nature Preserve. So for the last 30 years, we've been having porta-johns, which are not really family-friendly, they're not user-friendly, and we also don't have water there. So the addition of this new year-round facility, it'll be heated. We'll also have drinking fountains and bottle filling stations. So users of the park can go and get their get a drink of water or fill up their water bottles for their walk. So we're really excited about this project, and we look forward to the completion of it sometime in September or October of this year.
Yeah, and so it'll be right around the peak of the fall season. People love to go out on the trails in the fall and see the foliage and walk through the township, and so it's going to be a great opportunity for them to take a restful stop at the Arrowhead Trailhead and take a bathroom break if they need, fill up their water bottles, and continue down the Rails to Trails Trail here in West Bloomfield Township. And Joe, you mentioned that this has been something that's been in consideration, something that the Parks Department, the Parks and Recreation and the Commission have been talking about for a number of decades, and now it's finally coming together. When did this project start to come together and really be something that could realistically have come from point A to point Z?
Yeah, actually, we've had it in our plans for years. It's been identified in our master plans over the decades. Yeah. But when you're looking at, projects, sometimes bathrooms do not hit the high point of what we'd call sexy projects. But Oakland County Parks passed a new millage in 2020, and with that millage, they promised to give out grants to local parks and recreation departments within Oakland County. So we wrote a grant last year. We were the first recipients of the Oakland County Parks grant. We received a $100,000 grant for our proposal. That really kick-started it. The project, we budgeted $400,000, but we're going to get $100,000 from the county. And like I said, we're really proud that we were the first recipient of the Oakland County Park grants. It's a great program. It's a great give back to the community for our, if everybody knows, there's no Oakland County parks within West Bloomfield boundaries. So our taxpayers pay money to the Oakland County Parks. So we're getting some of our tax dollars back. in this grant, and I think it really will be a nice enhancement to our park system, especially for our trail users and nature preserve users.
The plan approved by the West Bloomfield Township Planning Commission on Tuesday night. You can find that on demand this afternoon on civiccentertv.com and watch our replays as well at 1 o'clock today, as well as 9 o'clock a.m. on Saturday and Sunday to get even more information, some insight onto how the final parts of this really came together last night. And Joe, part of that is I happened to be operating the meeting for our team here at Civic Center TV. And it's a really interesting way that you're bringing this facility in, because it's not going to be built on site necessarily. But it's really interesting, that relationship you've developed with a vendor to bring this, what's called a prefab building, in to the Arrowhead Trailhead.
Yeah, when we were originally looking at this project, we did not think that we would have access to the sanitary sewer lines. And so we brought in a company called Green Flush, which does a prefabricated building. And purpose of that was that we thought it would be containing the sewer, kind of like in a septic field, except for not having a septic field, it would be a vault. And then we would have a company come out and take the materials out on a regular basis. Well, through our planning process, after we got the grant, we found out we could tap into the sewer. So we're going to be tapping into the sewer, but we're still using this Green Flush product because it's a prefab building. And what we found out in our research and when we wrote the grant was that prefabricated buildings are more green in the fact that they use less energy to build. And it's actually really nice that the facility, the building's built inside. So a lot of times when you do a stick build project that's out on the site, you're exposing all those materials to the weather. You get sometimes mold, you get rot. And then also there's a lot of disturbance during that process. It would have taken over our parking lot and really would have taken a lot of time and effort away from our users. So this way, we'll do the pre-work on the site and have a foundation built, but then they will truck the restroom in from, I think, somewhere out of North Carolina. They'll truck it in and set it there. And so really it'll only take a couple days for this thing, once we've got the foundation, the site work done, to be complete and open to the public. So it's a double, we're really looking forward to it. Less disturbance for our users and a much greener way of building a product. There's less waste and less energy used.
It's another great resource here in our community for those that are going up and down the West Bloomfield Trail each and every day. Joe, thank you so much for joining us and telling us more about this exciting news from West Bloomfield Parks.
Thanks, Tyler. We appreciate it.
Appreciate having you on as well. You can learn more about the West Bloomfield Trail and see the full map and learn more about West Bloomfield Parks programs and other events coming up on wbparks.org. Well, that is going to do it for today's edition of the Splash Live. As always, you can join us for our 90 minutes of live news coverage Monday through Friday, beginning with the Splash Live at 9:30 and then continuing on at 10 o'clock with the MegaCast. And you can always find us on demand as well, civiccentertv.com, as well as on our YouTube page. Just search Civic Center TV 15. Big thank you to Joe Ketchum for West Bloomfield Parks for being with us this morning, as well as to our crew, Jared Clark at the studio of My Michigan TV, and our director at Master Control at Green Media Center, Calvin Brown. That does it for today's edition of the Splash Live. We'll return soon with a new episode.